Hello everyone, welcome to yet another CCI talk. My name is Aishna and I am the editor at CA Club India. Today we have with us CA, CPA and MBA Mr. Sandeep Taneja, who is the CFO of Gates India. Having 20 years of experience in working in South Asia and North America, Mr. Taneja has worked with Whirlpool, EY, Corning, Ingersoll Rand and Gate across different streams of finance. We are very pleased to have you with us today, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So just to start, can you please tell us in brief about your educational and professional background?
Yeah, so I've done my bachelor's and master's in commerce from India, and then master's in business administration from US. I'm a licensed CA in India and CPA in the US. I started my career in India after I completed my chartered accountancy, worked for FENA, Whirlpool, then moved to US to do my MBA, worked there for EY, Corning, and then came back to India, and I've been working with Ingersoll Rand and Gates lately. So that has been my journey, about 22 years or so.
Sir, I'm sure as a leader, you have various roles and responsibilities. So can you walk us through some of them?
Yeah, so I think as a leader, there are two aspects that I see. One is to lead the business and also to lead the people. So leading the business to me involves satisfying your customer and investor needs, and leading the people involves, hiring the right people, putting them in the right roles, giving them opportunities to grow within the company, and if they move out of the country, they should go for higher roles. So I think a role of leader involves around managing the stakeholders and satisfying their needs.
So like you talked about hiring the right people. So I'm sure there is a need to create a professional environment where your employees are satisfied in their part of in the organization. So how do you create that?
So in order to hire the right talent, I think you have to identify the right job scope and then map it to the right talent. A lot of times when people hire, they are not even sure about what role are they going to assign to this person, or it's not very clear. So I think also it involves a lot of patience and a lot of time to get the right talent. I usually don't make compromises on hiring the talent. If it takes time, let it be. So after I hire the right talent, the idea is that they should be employable for the current opportunity and should be ready in some time for future opportunities, which means they should be mobile, they should be ambitious. I don't want talent to get stuck with me at any point of time. So if I'm going to provide training to them through external means or internally through rotation, they should be ready with that. And also I think having continuous one-on-ones apart from the regular work, which means scheduling regular meetings, taking them out for lunch or dinner, helps us to gauge their professional and personal needs in a much more because a lot of times people don't open up in regular office work. So if you meet them outside work or on a dinner, then you get to understand their personal needs also, which is equally important to grow their professional careers.
And so while hiring or after hiring, how do you create a diverse team and focus more on inclusivity, especially on gender inclusivity?
Yeah, I think this is a good topic, and this is sort of a change that Indian corporate environment needs, especially in the field of finance, especially in the manufacturing industries where it is male dominated, and we don't have as many females. Service sector, you get a lot of females. So I think the first thing is to break the barriers and have an open mindset that everybody can contribute, whether it comes from religious diversity, gender diversity, or whatever is the case maybe. Then you start looking for the right people and giving them the right opportunity and giving them the right environment also. Especially in Indian environments, even if people are ready to take females, the office environment is not that ready. So I think apart from your mindset and the facilities around you, you have to get other people also ready so that the talent that is coming with diversity can survive in that environment and can grow in that environment. So yeah, so in like in Gates, when I joined, we didn't have any female um, uh, female colleagues. So right now in my team, we have what 20% females. So yeah, we are building that slowly.
Right, sir. So as we all know that the COVID-19 pandemic forced us to shift to a work from home environment, which was fairly new in India. So do you think work from home is the future of corporates in India?
I really don't think it's going to be 100%. I think humans need human interactions. There are certain functions like operations, sales, who have to be present in the office. So I would say maybe 10% for them for work from home. IT function can be like 80% work from home, and the rest of the functions like human resource, finance, other support functions can be maybe like 40-50%. So in manufacturing, I would say maybe 30 to 40% work from home, and maybe in service sector it can go up to 60 to 70%. But I personally don't think 100% is going to be possible, because we are humans, we are not robots.
Right, so yes, sir. So, sir, like you earlier mentioned that there are various stakeholders in a company that you have to satisfy. So how do you satisfy various set of stakeholders in the company?
Yeah, so I think, it's very difficult to satisfy all stakeholders at any single point of time. So you need to prioritize, the stakeholders that you are trying to satisfy at a given point of time. Like, for example, if it is a startup, obviously you are trying to satisfy your customer, you're trying to build your customer. So customer comes first. And usually in all companies, customers come the first. And then there are times when, you have a higher attrition. So you want to keep your employees engaged and employees satisfied. So I would say customer is a priority, followed by employees and vendors. And I think if these three parties are satisfied, then investors will automatically reap, their return on investment. So yeah, I think the priorities should be clear, and people usually get into one lane and then start switching onto other lanes. So that usually creates a problem. So keep your customers satisfied, employees happy, your investors will get returns.
So as you may know that the role of CSR in India is growing a lot. So what do you think is the importance of CSR in uplifting the underprivileged?
Yeah, I think it's definitely important because, in countries like India, where there is too much of a gap between the rich and the poor and people who are educated and who are not so educated, we have to, reduce the gap, because unless the country grows together, it's not getting built for the long term. It may show, growing signs in the short term, but it'll certainly collapse after some time. I think this is a good initiative that government has put in on CSR spend, which should have been there before also. And companies abroad actually do that without this risk, this legal binding of spending the money on CSR. So we in Gates have started, we invest in industrial training for people from, ITI backgrounds and stuff, so that they can become ready for the future jobs. Some of them are obviously absorbed in the company, and then others are able to find the right set of jobs they want. We also focus on sustainability efforts, like, environment and planting trees and all that kind of stuff. So I see a lot of companies, depending on their potential, spending good money on education and environment and other activities, which I think it's good for the country and for the world.
Right, so, And sir, how important do you think it is to maintain a work-life balance?
It is important, but it just depends on what you want to achieve. So I don't think you can have 100% work-life balance. You need to prioritize at some point of time early in your career. I think my focus was more on work and less on life. Now it's a little bit more on life and less on work. So uh, of course you have to balance it, but I don't think it can be 100%. And in your mind, you should be clear that what is my priority? Is work my priority, or is the life, the home life is my priority? And then accordingly, you pick your assignments, you pick your location, and your money part also, because if you focus on work, your money will grow. If you don't focus on work, it won't grow, but then you'll have peace of mind. So I think you have to prioritize what you need. 100% nobody will give you.
Right, sir. Sir, is there a mantra that you followed early on in your career that has helped you reach where you are today?
Yeah, I think what has worked for me is that I have always focused on getting different job assignments early on in my career, rather than focusing on money and the title. A lot of youngsters, even when I started my career and now also, even the senior leaders sometimes focus a lot on what is my title in this company, what is the salary in the company. I think early on, if you get more experience in different industries or different geographies, different kind of experiences, I think that will make your skill set better. And then once you have skill set, people will be ready to throw money and get you what you need. So people should have a broader mindset in the initial part of the career rather than getting so restricted about salary and the titles.
Right, sir. Sir, as an ending note, if you have some tips or some book recommendations for our viewers on how to be a good leader and a good CFO.
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of books in the market. I personally like Good to Great, Built to Last, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. But I think the best book is your own life. As you move along, take the learnings. Each decision or each engagement will teach you something. People don't go back and study their life. If they study, then they would know what has worked, what has not worked, and I think that's the best experience you can get. But yeah, there are management books like the ones I talked about, and those could be helpful.
Thank you so much for the talk today, sir. I'm sure our viewers have a better idea of what it takes to be a CFO in India. So once again, thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.